Welcome back to Overtime. Ryan, Dion, Sam is still with us because, Ryan, he's quickly proving smarter than all of us. 3-1 again last week with his best bets. So, Sam, where are you going with this Patriots-Bears matchup? Bears getting 8? That's a really big number.
It is. I'm looking at the total, though, Dion, 39.5. My question is very simple. How many points does Chicago get? And I'm basically at 10. 23-10, 27-6, something like that. I don't think it's going to be a big day for the Bears offense, and Belichick is going to figure out a way to keep them out of the end zone here. It won't be pretty. I mean, it's prime time. The total is 39.5, and that still feels a little high, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Sam, you're a brave man because this season has been so not predictable that I feel like the team that's supposed to get blown out wins. Watch, the Bears are going to win 40-0 in this game. All right, maybe
I'll take that bet.
Yeah, I'll take that bet too, actually. All right, what about Minnesota at Penn State? You like the Nittany Lions?
Yeah, Penn State off a loss. This is a whiteout game in Happy Valley, and it's sounding like Tanner Morgan, the quarterback at Minnesota, who took a big hit last week at Illinois. It sounds like he's out with concussion protocol, so he's not going to play. They are sending a kid who has completed 14 passes into a whiteout. Saturday night, Happy Valley, not ideal. I laid the 4 points with the Nittany Lions.
Okay, the other college matchup you're looking at, UNLV at Notre Dame. Irish giving 27.5? Is that right?
Question mark? I know, it doesn't even make sense. They just lost to Stanford, and Stanford couldn't beat Mount Carmel right now. But that being said, I think we look at the total here as you're sort of feeling I'm sort of an under player. I do like the unders and the underdogs. 47 is the point total here, so we need both teams to stay low and slow. UNLV's not going to score much. Notre Dame could win this like 31-10. I like to make scores in my head. That's my score. I'm under 47.
Yeah, I still can't believe they lost to Stanford. I was talking about how bad Stanford was last week, and then that happened. All right, what about the Jets at Denver? And this one, I don't know. I want to check what's in your coffee because you say you're like Denver on this?
It's Sailor Jerry's in my coffee this morning, Ryan. Thanks for asking. The Broncos are sort of getting way too disrespected here, and it's always fascinating. Nobody wants to bet the Jets, but there's like an 8-to-1 ticket count in Las Vegas. So for every one bet on the Broncos, there are 8 bets on the Jets. The Jets are the public darling this week. That's usually a bad sign. I know Russell Wilson cares more about what he looks like off the field, but this is disrespect for the Broncos here. It's a pick'em game right now. I think you lay that 1 point. I think the Broncos win, beat the Jets.
All right, we'll see. I think Russell Wilson is regretting those Let's Ride videos. Have you seen those memes? They are everywhere, and that's the car with the wheels falling off. All right, Sam, great stuff. We'll check in with you next week. Right now, let's check in with Jeff Meller, and Dion's at the big board.
That's right. Now, Jeff, obviously when a big trade goes down like the one that happened just yesterday with Christian McCaffrey to the Niners, fantasy owners reevaluate his place on their roster. How should they be feeling about this?
So look, this is a lifeline for anybody who had Christian McCaffrey because it's been a rough season so far because Carolina has not been able to score touchdowns, and that's made a direct impact on Christian McCaffrey. Nevertheless, this is a great move for him. However, this week, I'd be a little bit cautious about starting him. Not sure how much he's going to play. Was just announced yesterday with the trade, so who knows how much of the playbook he actually knows. I'd be a little bit skittish about starting him this week, Dion.
Okay, some pretty important teams have bye weeks this week. Help, we are missing the Vikings, the Rams, the Bills. Who's the other? The Eagles. What do we do?
Listen, this is a powerhouse, a murderer's row of teams that are on bye this week. Bills, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Eagles, you've got Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, and oh, by the way, Cooper Kupp, who's the best wide receiver in fantasy football. So don't worry, if you're missing somebody key on your team, chances are your opponent probably is as well.
Okay, so who should we be starting here? Josh Jacobs, Raiders running back, had a couple of good games over these last 2 weeks, almost 300 yards.
An absolute must start this point. Josh Jacobs going up against the Houston Texans. He has been absolutely awesome the last 2 weeks, totaling 298 rushing yards, couple of touchdowns. He is a must start this week. If he's on your bench, make sure you get him into your starting lineup.
And Melvin Gordon gonna start again against the Jets. How do you feel about this?
Is he gonna start at the end? Because I'm not so sure. He was only in on 16% of the snaps. That's 9 snaps in their last game. That is not good, and you saw him standing on the sidelines on Monday Night Football looking very dejected. Right now, if you have Melvin Gordon on your roster, definitely keep him on the bench. And honestly, if you need the roster room, go ahead and you can feel free to cut him.
What are we doing with Cam Akers? Questionable?
Same situation, Dion.
Okay.
Cam Akers and Melvin Gordon are both guys who you can feel okay about cutting at this point. I don't see a path back where you will feel comfortable starting them in the near future at all.
All right, what about Wanda Robinson? Came back last week, a surprise for the Giants.
Wanda Robinson has been somebody who a lot of fantasy owners have been waiting on. They've been hoping that he had an opportunity to jump in and make an impact. Last week, he finally did. Now, he only ran 11 routes, but he was only out there for 15 snaps. This is encouraging, and this is somebody who, if you're in deeper leagues, he's definitely worth an add. I wouldn't want to start him this week, but Wanda Robinson is definitely somebody to keep an eye on and maybe even scoop up if you have the roster room.
Okay, taking notes. Bears fans not going to like this, though. Patriots Tyquan Thorndale worth a look this week, no matter who their quarterback is.
So Tyquan Thornton has been excellent this last week. He was their second round pick for the Patriots, and he looks very dynamic. Now, Bears fans will see him on Monday night, and he is somebody who is explosive. They're going to go out of their way to get him the ball, the Patriots are, and I would imagine not just passes, but look for some runs, some jet sweeps to Tyquan Thornton. He's somebody who I think, you know what? He's worth a start this week, and certainly somebody that you would want to pick up if he's available.
Thornton is his name. Okay, so if Ravens' J.K. Dobbins remains out, he hasn't practiced this week. Kenyon Drake?
Yes, Kenyon Drake went off last week, and J.K. Dobbins has missed the last 3 practices. So Kenyon Drake is definitely a player who should be added, and definitely looking more and more likely that he'll be the lead back this week. So I would absolutely start Kenyon Drake this week for the Ravens.
Okay, who are you stashing on your bench heading into week 7?
How about this? Same team, the Baltimore Ravens, that running attack, Gus Edwards. He is returning from injured reserve very soon. He's worth keeping an eye on, definitely putting on your bench. He's a guy who could step in, and last year we saw he is a touchdown scorer at the goal line. He's somebody they rely on heavily when they're down there. So Gus Edwards, definitely worth adding. We'll have to see what happens with Kenyon Drake, but as long as J.K. Dobbins is struggling to get on the field, Gus Edwards is worth a stash.
So just because those great teams aren't playing doesn't mean you can't have a successful week in fantasy.
Of course not. No fears. Like I said, with so many good teams on bye this week, chances are your opponent is missing a key player as well. So don't fret. You never know. Just make sure that you set your lineup and get your guys in.
This is good news, Jeff. I need a win. Thanks so much. Okay, coming up next, one of college football's best backs plays for the Illini. What's led to Chase Brown's breakout year? Ryan will talk to him coming up.
And what about Zach Levine? We'll talk about the Bulls star and when we might see him on the court this season.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to our ABC7 Chicago YouTube channel.